less than 2 weeks to go, and it's been a few days now since the terrible truth came online about Caspian and Susan. The day after I went to work, I worked all day, and they let me go a little bit early because I saw I was not in my usual, good mood. It was kind of a rough day. Um, but I have reason to believe now that it won't be as bad as the previews indicate, and that the movie can still be good as Lion the Witch in the Wardrobe, and which a relief to hear. It's I don't really see how, because I mean, they kiss. I mean, apart from a sex scene, how could it get much worse than that in a PG movie? And so I'm looking at the footage and going, oh, how could it not be terrible? But I have reason to believe now that it won't be as bad as the previews indicate, and I certainly hope so. If it's as bad as what it looks like in there, I can't imagine liking the movie, nor how good the rest of it is. But the rest of it looks very good. But what we've seen, there's a new Pevensies Journey video. It's from Disney.com. The link is on NarniaWeb.com if you want to see it. And it's got some discouraging things, but I still get kind of this encouraging vibe from it. Just sort of the overall vision. First off, in the movie, whenever you see shots of Peter and Edmund, like walking out of Aslan Tau, like in facing the camera, it's very possible I was there that day, not far off camera, as they were shooting that shot. So this is it's been almost a year since I visited the set now, and this is the first time I've actually seen a shot that I was almost certainly there as they're doing that. And that little hole they're walking out of, I actually got to walk through that. Like in order to enter and exit the set, you had to go through Aslan Tau to the other side, which is kind of cool. But so very weird and awesome to see that for the first time. Probably the most negative thing that comes out of this video is more of Peter being a jerk. It's like there's a scene where they're crossing through the rocks, and Trumpkin says, "Unless I'm mistaken, there's no crossing in these parts." And Peter says, "That explains it then. You're mistaken." And he's just being a total, I just want to shake him and say, "You idiot," And I just hate where they're going with this. I don't like them making Peter such an unlikable character. That's what it looks like, at least. I mean, I acknowledge that there's some basis for it in the book. The big structural change here they're making is bringing the Pevensies to Caspian earlier, and we know that before the horn was blown in the book, there were short tempers in the army. It talks a lot about that, and things were, the morale was very low, and what they're doing is bringing the Pevensies into that into those short tempers, into that time in the army. They're bringing them into it earlier in the story, and making the Pevensies a part of that. So I can see, and of course the first thing Peter says to Aslan when they meet in the book is, "I'm sorry, I've been leading them wrong all along." So I can see that there's some basis to have something like this in the movie, but it looks to me like they've taken it to such a degree to where Peter is totally unlikable, and actually, like later in the clip when Lucy says, "Oh, have you forgotten who really defeated the White Witch, Peter?" And Peter looks kind of, I was kind of thinking, "Ooh, how you like them apples, Peter?" And I was thinking, "Oh yeah, Lucy, you put him in his place." And I realized I don't want to think that about Peter. I don't want to be glad that he's getting put in his place, But that's how unlikable it seems like they're making him. And so I'm hoping that won't be as bad as it looks. More of Susan being a badass. I mean, what more can I say that I haven't said in previous videos? I hate Susan fighting. I can't help, or fighting so much in the way she does it. I can't help but feel that the character of Susan has been cut out of this movie and replaced with the character I call Susalist. And so I just can't stand that. Our first shot confirms this was said in a 9DB review, but confirmed now that the Edmund Trumpkin duel is in the movie, unless they cut it out. And they'll be very hard pressed to top this scene in the book, because the book, the way Lewis describes it, is just so exciting. I love all of it. And he was King Edmund once again. King Edmund returned from the ancient past. Love that. And the way he describes it is just so fast-paced and exciting. It's such an exciting sword fight, and so it'll be very cool to see if they can top that. I doubt it, but hopefully they can give it a heck of a try. I like that line, "Oh, King Edmund," actually, and it seems like something that might be in the book. I like that kind of humor, but it makes me wonder if maybe Miraz or somebody says something like, says something to the effect of, you're only a boy, how can you be a king," or whatever. Or says something kind of condescending, and he says, "Oh, it's King Edmund, actually." And that's not in the book. I was just reading that scene last night, actually, and where Lizelle and Caspian see Edmund walking into the camp, and they can just tell that there's just something about him. There's like this glow, that they can just see, that they can immediately tell that he's a great warrior, and they never think of him as just a boy. And this because he of course has the years of experience as a king, and that somehow comes through. I always love that idea. And so I don't I hope they don't make a big deal of it. Oh, you're only a boy, because the books never really did that. There's a shot of Lucy like looking up at the stars, which I love. That's one of my favorite scenes in the book. It just the whole theme of return, so strong in that scene of it's kind of moving about how after all those after that year of being outside of Narnia, just looking up and seeing the stars again. And I hope that's a visually exciting scene to see the stars again, and I hope it's just as moving as it is in the book. I love that shot of Lucy coming up over the hill to reveal Aslan. And I really have very high hopes for this scene, just between the music we heard recently and everything we've seen in this scene. It just seems like it's going to be really powerful. I'm actually okay with it not being at night. I think that's one of the first things I said about this scene was, oh, I'm really disappointed it's not at night, because that would make it much more powerful. But I really like the mood they have in this scene, and like the gold kind of coming through. I wonder if gold will be this is the first time we really see gold in the movie. That's how it was for Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Aslan was the first time you saw gold in the movie, and it really made him pop out from the rest of the color palette. I wonder if that light shining through there just kind of makes the whole place kind of glow. And I think it sets a really nice mood for the scene. Then of course we have a line from the book. This is very encouraging because there weren't very many lines from the book in the first movie. But Lucy says, I think I know Aslan when I see him. And it's very encouraging to hear that. It's a great line in the book, and I like how they're hopefully it's the relationship between Lucy and Aslan is going to be as present as Adamson indicates that it is. And that shot of them, that shot of the whole army charging only on foot. I think it's cool how it's kind of the same as Wardrobe, but different in that now they're all on foot charging. It makes it more of a savage kind of brawl, than it was more of a clean epic battle. And first movie, this one's not as not sure what the word is. It's not as clean the way it's done. It's more of a savage, it's more savage battle than the last one. So that's cool. I like what Adamson says about the emotion. He thought the emotion of it was not the emotion was all about in the movie is coming back to a place that was no longer there, or trying to return to a place that was no longer there. Which yeah, I can kind of see at the end of the book. I see what he's talking about, and so I think that's a cool approach to it. And so yeah, that's awesome. Overall, encouraging video. Like once again, some annoying details, but the overall vision seems like it's gonna be great. Um, Still don't know what to think about that darned kiss, but what can we do? Wait and see. There's also the Switchfoot music video is online. Once again, the link on narniaweb.com, and it's a pretty cool music video. I love the song still. Kind of the first real review from a more official source. I believe it's the first one. Not really official, but something besides IMDb basically. Is Ain't It Cool News, and very very negative. If you want to read it, there are actually surprisingly few spoilers. Like if you've been watching these videos, you already know 99% of it. But he does give a lot of opinions. He's very very negative. And but what's funny is a lot of the things he says actually makes me feel better. Like he says, oh, he thought they should have had a more intense conflict between Peter and Caspian. It wasn't intense enough. And I read that and go, oh, good, it doesn't get too intense. All right, I'm so relieved, And so a lot of what he says actually makes me feel better. There's also a few more reviews for The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe Blu-ray disc online you can read. Let me see here. Three of them, no, two of the new ones are really, really positive. Then the one from IGN is not so positive. But then there's a little preview also of the Blu-ray disc that's on there. So I'm really excited about that. But gosh, the craziness continues. Like I said, I have reason to believe that the Susan Caspian romance will not be as bad as the previews make it indicate, and I still think that the movie has a very good chance of being better than Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. But I just can't see how that kiss could not be terrible. I just can't see how. It's so hard. I mean, it's a kiss. How could it not be horrible? But hopefully I'll be surprised. When I see it. And so 2 weeks to go, and what else can we do at this point? But all we can do now is wait and see.